Dear Gale King and CBS. People associated with CBS are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated associated with Gale King. With you, Gale King, you're probably not going to see this. So I apologize for WFSB for bringing this upon you because they're playing wire crime games with the police, separating subjects. And they're still committing wire crimes, calling my house. They called my house about a month and a half ago with officers forging and switching names. They use other officers' names, so they're bringing more and more people and their family members into their falsified police reports. This with the principal sex offenders campus with Wethersfield, Connecticut, associated with people from New Britain Superior Court and from Hartford courts and from other courts and their family members, prosecutors and judges, people that work for their courts that are involved with the only three branches of government, degenerates since founding, as victims, but as victim predators, with the people involved with them, with body dumping spots, and with investigators. These are people from those courts who sought me out for these confessions. They asked me for help because judges and prosecutors, people from Central Connecticut State University, were asking them to put me in fake locations with them on campus and lie about the nature of how I know them and leave that out of it. Like Eric Burgess and Emily or Amy with Hartford Court. Now, that court was also used for a deposition where former director of the FBI was a defendant in a part of a case that was ongoing at the time of my father's death. That's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated part of their motives of having been involved with identity thefts and frauds against me that involved investigators with on and off campuses connected predicate acts. And now these are there's a Justin Levinskas. I don't know his wife's name, but she's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also intercedes through time with the police forums and the male and female leaders of the courts and police forums that are delusions wrought, but also rules crimes predators. So this would have been discovered and overcome. But so we have to deal with them and the men distinctly because they each branch of government distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously has methods like wire crimes, and they separate subjects while they're fabricating and having fabricated audio and video transcripts to replace actually recorded audio and video. So recently in the news, there was, I just saw on Twitter, someone posted an article with a video interview with Gale King associated with a girl who was aggressive. She attacked a guy and saying he took her phone. There are proofs, because not just proofs, because Central Connecticut State University is involved with undercover officers, people that train undercover officers, train them how to be, formally too. But see, that training originally and still fails because of that method of uses of the pseudo-sophistication of the law, criminal and seditious natures of positive and negative treatments in collusion, criminally legalized. Since before our founding parents were born, our founding parents who wanted and needed us to be able to demonstrate this, but they are preventing actual premises treatments from being used. And so they use methods and styles become manifest of pretending people are making theories while they're the ones making theories about us and with physical delusions. So the physical delusions become relevant. So WFSB attached me to fake words and fake locations as a kid too, as an adult and as a kid. Fabricating audio video multi-front with the interbranch. I've been asking for many years for a response since before the World Trade Center attack. The Britain Superior Court, Hartford courts, and FBI, and military police, foreign and domestic, and deans and their family members involve all kinds of bullshit attaching me to fake locations with them. So, excuse my language. Get on paper for them. They want me to write a letter to respond. That's it. Respond to. There's too many things. I'm not going to list out the things because they already had me in fake conversations about this too. They're pretending not to understand what I'm saying because they're pretending I had a conversation with them before I never did. Because part of it, they need to pretend I knew and was in locations with people in the past I never was. because of what they're recorded and involved with intra and inter campuses. There's a fire department right next to Trinity College, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, confirmed, involved with the Aiello family, and others tied to him involved with foreign and domestic family members with locations next to schools, next to the locations next to that too, like the post office, people next to the Southstein Middle School, people associated with the intercities with the Azano family, also associated with the laundromat there. And one in Rocky Hill, all along Route 3, people are involved with judges and prosecutors and people on the state judicial branch offices all along Route 3, involved with creation of instances with the judicial branch. They ask people questions as how come you didn't say anything or something like that. They questions like that where they know they are involved with actually recorded crime methods where there's no means for people to say, because people are acting at the same time. They make an instance, someone's filming it because they're going to have to pretend later that they know those people. I don't know the Proen family. I don't know the Kerr family. And they went out of their way to pretend other. And with judges and prosecutors attaching little kids to fake locations through times, uses of their kids and drug clicks with the doctors, with drugs and medicines crimes with kids that are personally involved with drugs crimes with the kids, and they're pretending to be against such. Now, I don't know Brian Silver, but he's one of the prosecutors recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, associated also with a Christine Bedard and others with the name Christine. And with a Phil Cololo, all other people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with federal crimes with people on the child sex offender registry and more tied to them that are involved with the same people with their patients, with their doctors and those doctors' families and the prosecutors and judges that put them away. They were already involved with locations crimes with them. They were already involved with identity thefts and frauds, uses of Wethersfield town offices. So I don't know Nick LaPierre. He's one of the people that use my name because they get the kids to be able to pretend with girls where they're going to use other people's names. And then they're going to have to hide about that later. And like they get them because those kids know each other. You know, these are people with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, federal criminals, and people associated with the body dumping spots, associated with the witness protection program tied to that. Also tied to my street. So they don't understand that the extent of it, but it's recorded tied to the so they have undercover people and they try to establish undercover. They have people that teach people how to be actors associated with Central Connecticut State University that has state police families, and they have fire department families, people that are service. They're trying to pretend, you know, are value where they are not value. And they're trying to start fights with people. And they're trying to make friendships, do good things for people badly, evil, sickly for the same ends. So follow mandated law for Wethersfield, Connecticut, interbranch, because this is intercities. These courts are intercities. They were with locations crimes leading up to the World Trade Center attack at since. Their own people that worked there, personally involved, recorded with locations crimes and with identity thefts and frauds. And everyone's speaking through other criminally. They know that. They're pretending because they all play stupid and they separate subjects. These are the people involved with Wethersfield children since through time. People associated with houses next to the state prison offices. A whole bunch of Cuddy brothers I never had anything to do with. I never had a class with them. Involved with forensics locations. And with my neighbor, with a Cololo family, that the Wethersfield police called from Wethersfield town office about a month and a half ago. They're also involved with people with Charlie Bowes and his sister, or some woman who says she's his sister, associated with Old Town Cafe and some kind of cocaine and falsified police reports racketeering and evidence racketeering, identity thefts and frauds, associated with the mother of Chris Walters. And people associated with Washington, D.C. and World Trade Center associated with him. And affidavits he gave me and others that were also used where they were painting fake sides of correlation nature where he was in collusion with the people that he was giving affidavits about that were attaching him to fake words. Now, these are also people involved with my new and past neighbors. They involved with predicate acts against me and others on Central Connecticut State University's campus and off of it in New Britain, Connecticut, and on and off Trinity College and in New Britain, Connecticut. Same people tied to the recorded predicate acts roles with the officers on Weathersfield Police Department that called me up a month and a half ago. Now they're forging names, switching names, and making confessions as threats. I still don't have a response for the other falsified police reports with the officers forging names, switching names, McGee. Now this has been for years now. They keep stacking more falsified police reports, more problems, and fake instances tied to the real instances where people, where I had to raise my voice too. They lied, but to put all these things, fake conversation with me with others, but who also attach me to fake behavior, fake words with themselves, and about legal cases. They're categorically lying about legal cases. They're criminally involved with federal criminals since before they were caught, and they were with the cops that were involved with the forum with them, with all kinds of lies and lie precautions and uses of them, blaming other things and others for it before they got caught. They were involved with pension thefts, way worse with the kids. It's also people involved through time with names dropping and uses of others' names on and off the Fox Connecticut News and next to it. So they use truths to lie, like they have the rights to lie, but they use it where they don't have the right to lie. So there's a Domain family who went out of their way to pretend they knew me, and that I don't know, but they confirmed roles with they apparently confirmed. I don't know that. With all kinds of natures of drugs and medicines crimes with kids and stacking illusions in databases and then having the men and women further them. There are women associated with them that I never had a conversation with either, who pretended other behind my back, who are also then there were timed uses of it involved with Thaddeus Grabowski, which is one of the federal criminal co-defendants, a former director of the FBI, in a case was ongoing, but it's not. It's just those are the people involved with that, and the depositions are relevant to this case, where we needed an attorney general to take over, because and if they don't want to do the right thing, the attorney generals, for the reasons that Donald Trump noted, honestly or not. In other words, if it's honest, Mr. Trump, make sure they respond, because nothing I'm saying is debatable unless they use tricks to pretend other, fabricating more audio and video into databases, which is evidence. You have the interbranch forging names and switching names, because they use all kinds of methods. They don't pretend they're not real. When they say things, they're making all kinds of confessions because they're communicating about the sources they have. Their sources are liars. They've been having who spoke for the urban areas. What really hurts them? Who spoke for what really hurts any location? Our founding parents didn't have free speech. They want to play other. They want to pretend that they were honest about how they had courage to fight for unity. That was a forced counter unity. And the counter unity is forced. There's still slavery left north and south. That's increasingly valued, because that's increasing. To understand that is how you discern the breaching method, and discernment of the breaching method shows discernment of everyone tricked, hurt, persuaded, forced to use things like racism, and because that keeps everyone blaming individuals, keep individuals from quality of fact treatment nature, while everyone's pretending other. It forces fake sides. You can't go out. You have to be a representative of a color too, no matter who you are, because that sick game by the logic. We'll say, we didn't for it, white people did. Black and white forced that together. Sick minority of law. That was the complete possession of a breaching method that knew they would be fake sophistication and needed to hide lie progressions. They use them remotely. When they bring up the democracy building, that a breaching method that already had complete possession of the nations, individually grouped and together, made them get behind things like that. Well, it's democracy building. It's not real integrity. It's not really freedom of speech, not really the surface values of the Constitution, and it helps them pretend to be about that here when they can't be, because they're not really about it. They never were. You have to understand, these people are sicker than the serial killers that they have to hide the same sequence shifts with, the same timed identity of the ground locations uses with, because they've been using them. When they ask people questions, when they try to understand life, they're sick. Originally and still, this is recorded tied to the breaching method, overt / insidious, with the child campuses. Now, I asked you for a response for the rape threats with the courts and with the police forms that are attaching me and attaching others to fake locations. With WFSB, attached me to fake location, Gale King. They have you involved with this. They have you guys involved with pretending integrity means what it doesn't. Pretending justice, because Marbury versus Madison means real justice must satisfy all appearances of real justice. And what can't pretend it's satisfying real appearances of justice has real excuses, like how people need money and it's on a mass scale. Farming. They can't stop farming because now no longer are any of the identity of the ground locations even capable of that value / value progression method, identity of the grounds, identity of relationship to itself with the water and everything where it's going to cause evolution's fruits against means natural, native pure. So we have people making theories against people who are asking to port simple acts. While you're doing that, you're stacking your own names and more names that have to be used by the other people. You're also stacking more crime method roles. I've been asking you to separate me from the fake words, the fake sequence relationships you guys have with the locations next to Central Connecticut State University. Gary Sasso, he's recorded criminally involved with judges, whether he knows it or not. He's involved with child offenders, including with the DCF, including with his sexual circles, involved with prisons, real sickly, criminally involved through time, with the foreign and domestic military too. And these are medicines racketeering roles. He sold a lot of drugs, huh? And that's the friend of the guy reportedly tied to you, Gale King. So you guys are starting fights with people because you guys in the background pretending to be legitimately investigators when you're deluding raw victim predators of this system that does not let anyone use science and honesty to speak for Hartford, Connecticut, New Britain, Connecticut, West Hartford. Now there are more people with West intercities with these cities that are tied to the Wethersfield interbranch criminally involved. And the people associated with them and their family members. That's why you guys need to learn how to mind your business and you get out of investigations now, or man up or women up and follow mandated law. Gale King. It's disgusting because you guys exploit too how people respect you and use that respect and pretend that that's what you think integrity is for when you're getting over on sequence. You guys are responding to behavior online where the people online are involved with identity thefts and frauds that are also in the form of falsified police reports, that are also in the form of evidences, crimes acts, and falsified and mail crime, wire crime, drugs crimes, medicines crimes with kids. And the same ones with the drugs crimes with the worst are the ones with the medicines crimes, the doctors with it. And they're getting away with it because of the courts that are criminally involved with their personal locations with the areas and investigators, the punks that are culturally charged because they're sick victim predators. The reason there are no scientists speaking, that's the reason, because there's a breaching method. That's another reason. Now you guys are preventing that reason from being demonstrated while you guys are making up fake things. And you got boxing. You guys are sicker than serial killers with your roles with the justice racketeering, blaming on other things, others themselves too. It is recorded how those prison stewards are kept needing to hide the same lies and for their family members. And so this is disgusting. What's his name? I never had a conversation with Clay Bay. you guys, people associated with you, and with Connecticut boxing. You know, where everyone speaks through other people, there are judges and prosecutors involved with predicate acts with people associated on my street, and with each of the campuses I went to, and with the family members of the people associated with boxing gyms that have nothing to do with boxing, but they have timed roles with time instances with the forging names, switching names, falsified police reports, and people who have subsequent shift roles on and off the illusions, on and off the World Trade Center attack context. And since it, the investigators have been valuing their roles with fabricating audio and video against American citizens with a whole bunch of other countries like Russia's with American, and with the military associated with Hartford Hospital, and with Town Line Drive associated with the Schedule family, pretending to kind of know me through time too, and their neighbors like a Joe DeMoro and his neighbors, I forgot their name, associated with all kinds of identity theft, fraud, slanders, all kinds of these are punks who pretend passion and emotion because they're involved with justice racketeering. They need to hide their life progression. They need to hide their actually recorded natures as see criminal and citizen's nature. I'm not a lawyer. We don't have to be lawyers to show the physical delusions, the criminally foreign influence premises treatments of lawyers originally instilled. Now there are a number of lawyers recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by the people associated with them and the networks associated with their advertisements, where and how they have roles with all kinds of racketeering, with investigations, judges and prosecutors were involved with identity the ground locations they've been using criminally through time. If there's a whole bunch of ways that WFSB has tied to the buildings of downtown Hartford with people that are involved with the judges attaching me and others to fake locations, and with the people further involved with the news evidences, with the private news is painting fake things with the interbranch at the same time, and the forging names and switching names and the preventing counters, because they're painting fake things by attaching us to fake words too, fake sequence shifts, fake pleadings, they're attaching kids and their families to fake ties to doctors. They attach me to fake ties to a doctor. I was never tied to a doctor as a kid. Now these medical families are recorded easily discernibly delusions wrought, identity thefts and frauds, and tied to people that have a pattern, as people that demonstrate and confess and record that they act towards other people. They're little fakes together, growing up, and with their uses of my name in the background with people in other classes. I don't even know their name. Other schools, private schools, they know my name. I don't even know their name. The people that run their schools, not by accident, because these are people involved with the policing of the campuses, also involved with it. Only people allowed to be against drugs are the ones furthering it, and because they're attaching little kids and their families to fake uses of drugs, fake locations with themselves. They're doing this to adults too. They're putting fake things in the databases. So follow the mandated law for them, because they're using wire crimes. They're investing them every place. A bunch of sick predators. That's what American history is about. A breaching method entrenched. You don't blame it on other things. You don't allow people to. You don't pretend you can't fathom that. You don't pretend. You follow mandated law. Gale King for WFSB now.